What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. All right. So let's talk about this. So yesterday I was streaming and I got 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 dungeons where there was no tank. Now, in the details section is a link to this post. So I encourage everybody to go check it out on the official forum where somebody's like, Dungeon Finder, please fix it. I won't get into it. I won't read all of it. It's pretty lengthy. But pretty much the guy had a bad experience with his healer, went to his tank, ended up with people queuing in as tanks. Right? Or vice versa. So let me explain. I just, wanted to highlight this and people, going over the comments and whatever. But pretty much it's not, okay. It's not the queue system that's the problem. It's not. It's the players. They want fast queue time, so they're exploiting the system because there's no check system. So when I go to a Dungeon Finder, I can switch my role. I might be a healer, but I'm like, my queue times as a healer has been going down. But if I queue as a tank, I'll get an insta-kill. Right? Because there's, not that many tanks in the game. This game's suffering with the lack of tanks. And ZOS has never implemented a check system because the game allows you to have a lot of different ways to configure your build, but there's still ways to implement it, but ZOS has never done it, and this has been a problem for a long time, but it's even becoming more prevalent recently due to the facts that nobody wants to play tank. Personally, I like playing tank. I don't mind playing tank. I main tank in a lot of MMOs, but when I go in, I don't like anything fake. I like a smooth run. That's me. I like smooth runs with, the design the way it is, the way it's meant to be. Now watch, I'll probably get a fake tank. It's normal, blah, 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 blah. And these are problems, man. These are fucking serious problems. And it's affecting a lot of players. Because it's selfish for players to do this. Okay, so I have a tank. He's Lobby, but he's a real tank, so we'll roll with this. He's going to take the quest, blah, blah, blah. He needs a clear. He needs a clear. And that's another problem we have, is people who don't want to help newer players. They want to rush through the content, but other players have, quests and stuff. So is this game really that friendly towards newer players? No, it's not. It's not whatsoever. Now, personally, I would like to just kick this person. Because they're being selfish. This dude needs this. Watch.
Securing this beach. Search for supplies and see if you can find wounded worth saving. Strict triage. We are bound to lose more before this day is over. And I don't want to waste healing on the dead.
I know a lot of people want to get through the content. I know they do. They've been here a while, but like I said, it's ZOS, man. It's honestly ZOS. They need to address the issues appropriately. Like, I'm trying to farm transmutations. And here becomes my other question. Why aren't they trying to give more rewards for random vets when vet randoms and normal randoms have the same rewards? I mean, I get that you want people to queue random normals so it promotes, you know, gameplay for newer players. I'm fine with that. But the thing about it is the difficulty level has changed. So I hate to say this, the random normals should be more rewarding. Because right now, on the daily DLCs, nobody's wanting to actually play the content anymore. They're like, what's the point? I don't need the monster. I don't want the monster set. You know, the gear I can upgrade. So, because monster sets now are dead. And that makes it kind of interesting moving forward for ZOS when it comes to new monster sets. Because who gives a shit anymore? Unless you're a tank or a healer using support sets. DPS, pretty much, unless it's stat boosting, like Dom or Kina, nobody gives a shit about proc. Because you do more damage without it. Right? And that hasn't been new. It's just they've just come to this realization. Oh, duh. I mean, it's always been about stats. And that's another reason why people who are still running Reliquant haven't caught on. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's easier for Stam to get that, but when it comes to, like, it still took a hit. And it's on the forums. So nobody can sit here and argue with me on that. It's just like, you know, if you're not building stat-wise or, you know, boosting, you're pretty much, you know, hampering a lot of your, you know, setup. Like this guy running in front of the tank, that's not really kosher most of the time.
You'll die before I let you touch the conquering stone.
Yo, tank, he's the fake. Get aggro. It's a fucking fake. Speaking of, oh, forgot. Just put an E on the end. This is what I think. They can go along, man. Whatever. I'll take a free ride. Let's check out the comments. Nothing. Okay. So, as I've said multiple times, this is a problem. Honestly, here's my thing. And why I want to go back to PvP. I don't want to play PvE. I honestly don't. It's discouraging. I really don't want a PvE in this game. You don't, if you're going to queue, don't fucking ask for heals if you can't play the role. That's the deal. I don't want to play PvE anymore. I don't. And here's what I tell new players. Don't come to this game. Don't. You'll have the most awful experience. You will. If you're going to PvP, if you want to PvP, come to this game. If you're a PvEer, do not play this game. Don't. Don't. You're going to play content which 90% of the time you're not going to use the gear that you obtain. You're not. Plain and simple. You're not going to utilize it. You're not. That's the truth. I'm going to give you guys the truth. You're going to, play, go into dungeons, and you're going to die because you don't have a real tank, you don't have a real healer. Zos isn't addressing the issues. And then you're going to get people who go ahead, and you're not going to be able to get any of your objectives done, like your quests or anything. That's the truth. For a newer player, this game is not a good experience. It's just not. It is not a good experience. Unless you get with a couple of friends and you play it. Now, if you get a couple of friends that are on a regular and you play it, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the game. The lore is great. From a Delver's perspective, it's not. It's not. This game's trash. I have played so many games, it's ridiculous. But why deal with it? The only reason people queue up is for their transmutations. But to be honest with you, it's like I don't even need this headache. As a matter of fact, for me, most people watch more my PvP builds than my PvE builds anyway. Some people use them. I use my PvE builds. My PvE builds take me all the way through whatever I do. So I'm cool. You know, if people want to roll the same shit and then complain about classes and everything, hey man, that dumb shit's been here since the beginning. But I've always rolled up. I've always done my shit. I complete my content. And whatever I set out to do. I've heard of time and time again, you can't do this, you can't do that. Wrong, 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 and wrong. Oh, it's this and that. No, wrong, 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 and wrong. You know? Like I said, I never put out any type of thing that's going to criticize anybody's build because I think, hey man, if it gets you through the content, hey, whatever. And I don't post any clickbait type shit. I don't do that shit. I don't put full sense of whatever. Everybody asks me why don't you do a target dummy? Let's say I could. What's the point? I use the target dummy just to represent scale factor. Because the tooltips don't change no matter what your build is. And that's what I want to reflect on. I want to show people the tooltips, how the adjustments occur. That's the only reason I use target dummies, right? For scale factor and whatever. Because human error can happen. And two, that's first thing. Second, you're never going to pull that in a live scenario. You're not. So why give it? That always became my question. People are like, well, because it shows the potential. The potential's always been there, less than, you know, if you look back at any builds that are even different, it's less than what? 3-5%? It's about rotation. You know? The gear differentials, you know, depends a lot just based on your stat factor. So it's like, I kind of like, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's why I don't do none of this shit. But everybody's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I heard it. I couldn't do Maelstrom. I did it. I can't do Dragon Star. I did it. Couldn't do this. I did it. Couldn't. I've heard it all the fucking time with this community. This community has been dipshits and have always conformed to what I tell them. That's what it is. Your meta players conform to what I say. Always have. They always will. That's a fact. Timestamps matter. They can kiss my ass. That's why they come here and watch me, and that's why they hate my guts. I personally don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm old. You know, whatever. If you don't respect the knowledge, then suck a dick and unsubscribe and get the fuck out of here. And do your thing. Good luck. I don't give a shit. But the biggest thing about it is PvP has always been my end game, and especially in this game it should be. I mean, the PvP isn't the greatest, but it's all we have at the moment in the MMO genre. Because Guild Wars 2, it's too slow. It's unique, but it's too slow. It's dated. World of Warcraft, dated. Rift actually had pretty decent PvP, and they managed to fuck it up with gear type, you know, huge gaps. Really problematic. But like literally, I think the PvE community is making me want more and more just to push towards PvP. Because, and that's what my guild members are like, majority of them. We don't want to fuck with the PvE. Because we had that discussion. We're like, what's the point of any end game when none of the gear is viable? And I've said that. I've had this argument. It's not even viable gear majority of the time. Maybe for the healers, that's about it. Maybe a tank in this context over here, whatever. But the DPS, no, it's lackluster. It's not serving its purpose. It's not, you know, whatever. So at the end of the day, I even saw a highlight, and I was kind of interested. Where Outcast said, I don't give a shit about any of the gear in here. I'm just doing it for the accomplishment, for the feat. I don't give a shit about nothing in here except the feat. And I was like, whoa, that's a statement. That's a statement. Well, that's a statement, isn't it? It kind of puts the you know, reality on the situation what we have in ESO. And yesterday we queued up to me and another individual, and the queue time was horrible. It was god awful. And I was like, it's no wonder why this game is slowly even deteriorating further and further and further and further and further. It's like performance is an issue. I think Microsoft needs to get this on different servers. The code always could be improved, and they're making improvements, a lot of improvements. So that deserves recognition. But it doesn't change the mentality of the player base that which ZOS has once again codded. They codded these players, and they were coddling them. They were whatever, coddling, not coddling, coddling them, and they say I'm toxic, but how am I toxic if I'm playing the game as intended, as it's designed? But the real toxicity is in the community. Like Final Fantasy players are a little scared because they call World of Warcraft players toxic. Their mentality due to that game is toxic. All right? This community has gotten to that same factor where there's no the diversity. Matter of fact, even the math gets ignored. And that's fundamentally flawed. Because they ignore the principles. And of course, I'll probably have like 7 dislikes on this video, whatever have you. I don't give a fuck. I'm speaking truth. It's what it is at the end of the day. And I honestly think we'll see. Now watch, fake tank. I'm doing it to prove a point. I can't believe this. Fakes. I prove a point again. This is why this is going to continue to be a bad experience for new players. It teaches bad habits, and it's horrible. It's bad. Once again, I think ZOS needs to raise the bar. Turn up the difficulty. It's time. Instead of lowering the nerfing classes, they need to raise the difficulty, even in normals. I just think that there should be, thank you. There should be, a penalty for players that aren't playing their role. And either that or they need to come out with a check system. It's funny that I'm talking about this, and for the last 2 days, we've been getting the same effect. It literally makes me want to pick up another game for PvE, like maybe Final Fantasy, because you can't fake that, right? And then play this for PvP. Because in the end of the day, this game is horrible. PvE experience. It's become horrible. It's become trash. It doesn't even deserve respect. It doesn't deserve any respect. It doesn't. Not in this content. In this content, it does not deserve respect. As beautiful as the game is, it doesn't deserve the respect. Oh my fucking god.
I'm the one you want.
Let's see.
I don't know how you lot escaped from torture, but it will resume.
Fakes.
Let me help you.
Help
No heals.
Wait.
Oh my fucking god. I prove a point again. ZOS needs to put more incentive on the vet randoms, not the normal. It's problematic. All of this is problematic. This is a serious issue. It makes me not even want to play anything.
You're going to save my wife? She doesn't deserve to
It's
be
like,
saved.
honestly, you know, I could roll with my dudes and just get the gear and just say fuck this and get my transmutations through PvP. Because at the end of the day, this is some trash ass shit. This is horrible. And why don't I do it? It's the principle. I have tons of DPS. I could fake Q as a tank. I could fake Q as a healer. Why don't I? The principle. See, there's a thing called integrity that 90% of the player base don't have. They don't have the integrity. They don't. They lack it. The respect. Yo. To be honest, I mainly play to be a naughty crime boy who keeps stealing things. Okay, well, that's good. This game's good for that. Morning, Harold. Roz, my house repairs are going along great. Oh, great. Good to hear, brother. Meaning other than purple gear, what other incentive is there other than the monster helms? And right now, people aren't using monster helms. Right. That's the problem. Because they nerfed it to such a degree that, well, now players realize that monster procs were really overrated anyways. And they were. You know, if you build static, if you could always build stat-wise, you always deal more DPS. I've had this argument years ago. Hashtag timestamps matter, hashtag I have the videos. Where, yes, monster procs are good, but, you know, it's a gimmick. You know. Now, the toxic sets that are in dungeons affect PvP. Because like everybody says, it's free damage. Right? Scale factor for damage, whatever have you. And that's the way it works. I'm just going to say they let me sit here and collect. But there, like I said, ZOS has created a huge problem. This is why a lot of players, when they try the game, they eventually just quit. They quit. Why? What's the point? There's, what, 4 sets in the entire game controlling a mythic item and a helm that controls the entire game across the spectrum. That's it. That's where this game has derived to. It's what it has become. And I think eventually ZOS is going to have to rework staffs. Or, once again, throw more nerfs in the mix. Dead. I wonder why they died. I don't know. Like I said, they'll be get pissed. Why aren't you fucking healing? I don't know. You guys cute as whatever. I don't give a fuck what you do. It's funny when I catch people dying on a stream. And they're like, it's normal. Why are you dying then? I don't fucking know. And yes, aggro defaults to healers. So that aggravates me alone. That's enough just to aggravate the shit out of me. and I'll let people die. This community has lost its fucking marbles. And it's not all their fault. It's because ZOS hasn't put the tools in to say, no, you can't queue as a tank if you're not a tank. They have not implemented this. And once again, even if they do this, who gives a fuck about any gear? Like who gives a fuck? Everybody's running Arx Corinium, farming fucking Deshaun. DPS should be farming this dungeon along with another dungeon for their critical sets. Do Wayrest 1 vet, get your slime crawl head, and get your kill. And just slap it on everything. Call it a fucking day. Then do your Maelstrom normal, grab a fucking whatever weapon, and you're good to go. Now, personally, I like the VAT healing staffs. They are those staffs. Whoever, like I said, whoever came out with that, way better than Ellie Drain. If you ain't using the VAT staff as a healer on not every configuration, but majority, you're losing out. You're losing out. That Resto staff with that ability offers way more resources than Ellie Drain ever will. It's just amazing. It's an amazing staff. Sylvia, what's up? I use monster sets for theme and theme alone. Yeah, it's good for that. And now they have mythic, right? To be honest, if people don't care about tanks being tanks, I just feel emboldened to keep maining a DK healer. DK healers are good. I love DK healer. MB, I can screw together some heal tank hybrids and just carry shrug. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You have a point. You do have a point. You can build a hybrid and run a heal tank, you know, because your shield's going to help mitigate, and you don't have to go up to that 40. You can possibly pull 30 and have enough heals just to, whatever. That's true. You can do that. But my point of it is when does it stop? When does it stop? That becomes the question. When do we get the practicality back of this? It's one thing when it's just a normal. And here's it becomes another thing, another principle. Everybody's like, well, it's a normal. Normals eventually end up becoming vets. So when I go in as a vet, when I'm trying to do my dailies as a vet, DLC or non-DLC, doesn't matter, and you don't have a tank, that becomes an issue. Now you do have a real problem because people don't mind dying, but they want the reses while you're healing. They want reses. You're trying to heal. Res me. And you're trying to heal while you have aggro. That carries over. This stupidity carries over. The arrogance carries over. So if you keep it, yes, it's normal. But if you keep capitulating to this, it transcends to the vet content. That's the problem. That is the reality of the situation. And for a newer player, they keep asking themselves, why am I playing a game where there's no designated tank? Why am I playing a game where none of the gear is significant to use? Because the meta is dictated. Why am I in this dungeon? Just to get transmutation stones? Is that all? These become the fundamentals and the problems associated. Like it or lump it. Have a good stream. About to start work. Hope everything has a good day. Everybody has a good day. Thank you, Sylvia. I hope you have a good day at work too. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. But yeah, these are real problems. These are real problems in this game that aren't being addressed. They're not being, they're not being taken care of. And I honestly think that ZOS is like burying themselves. Like I said, I would rather get back just to the PvP in this game. That alone, because right now there is no game that has good PvP. Final Fantasy XIV is probably this right now in PvE perspective the superior game. It is. It just is. From a content perspective, good story driven game with a progression system, right? That most MMOers can, you relate with. So the problem, and nothing's deteriorating that. And the only best and slot items that they have in that game are your relic weapons. Everything else is your tier system, your tier sets, which is, whatever. PvP, though, the game's horrific. It's just horrific. There's ways to keep the current system in check and to adapt a new PvP system, but it literally would have to be a new PvP system. There are ways to do that. Once again, I don't work for these companies, and if I don't, there are certain things I don't divulge. So, then it is what it is. Last boss. Thank God.
Of the need for the students to pay for their insolence.
Like I said, this has been a serious problem in this game. Very, very serious fucking problem. God, oh God, oh God, oh God. I'll actually be happy if I get my free transmutation stones. Fuck it. Because to me, I don't need any gear. 2 people dead, 3 people dead. Normal. This is normal. It's normal. I'm proving points. I'm proving fucking points. Stop with the dumb shit. This community has gotten so fucking obnoxious. Don't call me toxic when you have fake motherfuckers queuing in. That's obnoxious and toxic. That's obnoxious fucking bullshit. And people deserve to die. People deserve to fail. Because they don't respect it. If you don't respect it, you deserve to get shit on. You deserve to be ragged on. Because had we had a tank and a healer, we probably would have had 0 deaths. And we probably would have completed in the same time anyways. But it's not what they're doing. They want their fucking transmutation stones. So they will fake queue to get it.
The sound of your own voice. Couldn't you see the blade wanted you here all along?
It's just like, holy fuck. See, they need a healer. I'll watch, I'll queue. See if I get back with the same group. It's trash. They couldn't fucking do it without a healer. This fucking community has gone to shit in a handbasket. Zos better get their heads out of their asses and fucking put a system in. Check. Oh my god. This is a fake tank. I'll fucking cry. Oh my god, it's real. It's real.
Dare touch me, vampire?
I'll help it just because it's a real tank.
I will take you with me.
Please, just listen. I'm not allied with those grave robbers. If you keep this up, those wounds will reopen.
Any group that has a real tank deserves a healer. No, don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
I've been itching for a scrap. Well, come on then.
Fucking DPS. I should let him die. Yo, man. Wanna get this thing off me, yo? Actually, they should reward, you know, like I said, they need to separate the normals and vet randoms, give more towards that, put a check system in, and then reward tanks. That's what Rift did. Rift actually had a shortage of tanks at one time, and literally they incentivized tanks by giving them better rewards. And why shouldn't they? DPS is always a dime a dozen in an MMO. They've never ruled the roost.
Well done, Wayfarer. Right there on the door. Fire watch sigil. This Draugr
I was
girl
actually
used
just
to
hoping to
walk scathed when
fuck with the other group. What's going on? Not much. A rant about how the vet queues does nothing to encourage tanks to actually be tanks, and how people constantly. Yeah, right. Who are you yelling at? Why are you so angry over a video game? What the fuck? Get. Bye. He's a troll. Not yelling. You haven't even seen me yell. Even if you guys think I'm yelling, trust me, I've never actually went off in a way that you guys would actually ever see me in real life. Because when I've ever gone off in life, people are like, oh fuck. Because I'm not the nicest person in the world. Trust me.
Wounding, help us. The door is sealed. And without two walkers' gaze.
Which line? There, on the floor. More sigils. Perhaps they correspond to the one on the door.
You may be right, vampire. Look around. We must keep up the pursuit.
I'm stating exactly why this game's having problems. And it's going to continue to have problems. Why other games, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy, fucking just rack in the dough. Yes, give us the money. Please and thank you. Chest. Oh, it's all good. I don't need anything in here. I'm just helping them out because they have a real tank. AFK a lot of times when it comes in, it's actually very most effective, knows how to taunt, knows how to do his shit, so obviously this is an ult.
Sealed door, but no statues or sigils. Any ideas, blood drinker?
A few. The corresponding sigils may be in another room. We should have a look around. Perhaps in that vault to the north?
God dang it! Uh-oh. It's gonna be bad.
It's just... Never mind. Shalaria managed to capture one of the Draga King. Come, quickly.
Where is Tuwaka's gate? Where is your leader?
Kiana took your magic lantern with him. Farther into the cave. You're going to catch him right now. Not before he...
Before
Okay.
what? What are these dogs doing here? Speak!
Okay.
You have no
We gotta
idea
go
what's
back.
coming. When the one who sent us comes to power, you'll beg for them. Beg!
Enough of this!
Yep, no problem. Okay. Well, you're the one that started the last thing when we were all heading over there.
Leader and Tuwaka's gaze are ahead.
So,
Shed a tear for this monster if you wish, but make it quick.
oh, right there. Okay, cool.
Don't leave me down here. Please. Yes, yes, you're getting closer.
Woof. Okay. Do we just drop?
One last act of bravery. Come now. It's almost over.
Oh no. All right. You gotta. Jump and grab. All right. It should be pulled into it.
My suffering is at an end.
Oh shit. I'm trying to find them. Where are they at? Trying to find them. Where? Oh, I see them. Oh no. No.
Finally, it ends. It.
Yay. We did it. All right. I think it's cool when they add the little secret bosses. Like I said, the dungeons are great. Content would be great if Zoss would put shit worthy. And fucking let the roles play the way they're supposed to. This game would actually be decent. God, man. This game's become a shit show and a half. Where's our tank? No. Or not. Look who's got friggin' aggro. Oh shit. Everybody center. Once again, healers pull aggro. Okay? That's why we hate fake tanks. Not a fucking surprise. Trust me, if they don't do something, they're gonna kill this game. I've seen the death of games. Like someone's like, "Well, you said it could have about 5 more years." It can.
Enough with your academics.
Zoss has to pull their head out of their asses.
Stop the progress kid.
Rich and the team need to think we gotta fix this. Nerfing it's not gonna help us. Well, duh, fucking duh. Duh,
Yokuden, yes?
duh.
The works of your ancestors from beyond the sea.
You let shit just pile up. I get it. You have problems with code. First off, they should have never taken Havoc for this. This was an ambitious project. That's why we didn't sign up. Me and one of my dudes who usually are testers, we didn't sign up for this game. We knew better. First off, we wasn't familiar with the engine, really at all, from an MMO. We were like, dude, do you know this engine, or do you have what they're going to be working with? He's like, dude, it's Bethesda, it's ZeniMax, and they're associated with Bethesda. They always take cheap routes when initiating any project. I'm like, fuck, and that's why we didn't do it. And here to find out, like, you know, once again, they used an outsourced engine for this type of, you know, an engine that's not typically associated with MMOs. And they've had to reverse engineer a lot of the code. So they've had to rebuild a lot of this code, you know, on this. This engine should have never been implemented. This is a type of engine that should never have been used for this type of project. It should never have been. Just in case, for some reason, this always gets ugly right here.
Lost in the dark.
Nothing I can do, dude. You're dead.
To the abyss.
No, that ain't it. This is it, right? Up. Yep.
You're almost there. I can sense it. Crawling up my spine. Something profoundly evil lurks here.
Now, kill it! Whatever these beasts have conjured here, it will face a lasting death at our hands. I'll kill you for what you've done.
By all means, try. Our patron demanded the remains of the Grey Host. What's the harm in adding a few more corpses?
Take it over.
Go. Kill them.
When you see shit like that, you want to cry. Because you're like, it could be so good.
I can't divulge, and your future is bleak.
Damn you, Fenorian. That was my fight.
A fight you would have lost. I don't expect gratitude, but you're welcome the same.
Fenorian, I understand why you did what you did. One day I will make my peace with it. In the meantime, I will put the life you saved to good.
Okay.
As for me, I have some investigating to do. Starting with this mysterious patron Kialna mentioned.
Whoever they are, I suspect they've already gotten what they wanted. The Draugr can smuggle.
Really nice. Good to go. That should have changed with Microsoft owning Bethesda. Hopefully it does. Lead should drop at a higher rate on bet. It should. You know what? Bet, Snoop, that's a perfect... I agree. I totally agree. Make the drop rate a little bit more better on vet. I totally agree. I totally agree with you, Snoop. Totally. 100%. Wholeheartedly. I totally agree with that sentiment. Totally do. You know? So, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this. It's getting to the point where it's like, why? Here becomes the question. And it is the question. It should be the question. When is ZOS going to address, right, you know, the elephant in the room? You know what I'm saying? When are they going to say, hey, you know what? We need to incentivize players playing the appropriate role. We need to put this in check so newer players coming in don't get bad habits, and it structures the game accordingly. They need to incentivize vet content because currently the way the meta has laid out everything, which isn't 100% accurate, though it will get everybody through every bit of content in this game. It's pretty good. I'm not going to lie about that. But is it 100% accurate? No, because these dipshits roll 7 divine still to this day. Still ignore diminishing returns. And then you expect me, a player like me, to take them serious. Stating the meta. Yet most of the time, 90% of the time, the meta are dipshits. Not saying their builds are bad or it doesn't deal whatever. But once again, a lot of clickbait, a lot of misinformation out there. Yes, it's good. Yes, it'll get you through content. Not debating any of this. But once again, we set a tone. We set a pace that affects the entire ESO community. And that becomes problematic in future installments when it comes to content for this product. It's a problem. And ZOS needs to address a number of issues because they've coddled them for too fucking long. I'll be honest with you. If somebody said the words "bis" in this type of game, I would have said nerf it. What? Nerf it. Did I stutter? No, nerf it. Not the percentage value across the board. Nerf that set. Nerf it. It's no longer BIS. Say it again. What's BIS now this week? This is BIS. Nerf it. That's BIS. Nerf it. That's what I would have done. Until they got it and be like, well, this set's good, and if you pair it with this, that's a really strong build. That's how you break habits. That's how you get people out of that bullshit. ZOS allowed a power creep and coddled to them. Now they can't even develop a trial where any of them are taking any of those sets serious for DPS. Nobody is. 2 years later, the same builds are being ran. 2 years later, and everybody wants to know why everybody quits this game? Because they already have the sets. They come back, they poke their head in. Is my build junk yet? No. Well, fuck it. I don't give a shit then. Why am I going to farm up anything if, I still have the best build in the game? Think about it. They're digging their own grave. The players in this game are causing this game to solidify into a heap, right? And instead of addressing the real issues that ZeniMax should be addressing, they go ahead and, they capitulate. And then they come out with gimmicks now to say, we're going to nerf your critical chance, but we're going to come out with a gimmick to make up some of that loss. So you buy the new chapter. Though the chapter doesn't hold weight. It's beautiful, but it doesn't hold its weight. I'm going to be real. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's good. It could have been better. It could have been a hell of a lot better. And that's the standards we should be setting. Alright, I'm going to let you guys go. Yes, I'm going to keep playing the game. I've already paid for a year. I'm going to get into PvP. We got real life friends in here. We're going to do a lot of shit. We're going to have a good time. Once again, I reintegrate. This game could be the best. But it needs a lot of work. And the queue system is one of the things that need to be prioritized. Alright, I'm going to let you go. Once again, I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystics MMOs. Have a good one.